Approaching a woman you find attractive isn't always easy. In fact, it can be downright nerve-wracking. It's because of this that many guys come off as creepy. Their nerves cause them to commit some of the biggest flirting mistakes that will always turn women off. We'll be focusing on the 5 main things guys do that creep women out. You can be the nicest, sanest guy in the world, but if you make any of these 5 mistakes when approaching a woman you like, she's going to think you're a creep. When a woman gets creeped out, she's reacting based on emotion, not logic. It's a visceral reaction that comes right from the gut rather than from her brain. It has nothing to do with you as a person, but rather, how your approach, actions or words made her feel. And women will always react strongly if they feel like you've overstepped in any way. The important thing to remember is that while you may feel nervous approaching a woman, she feels nervous too. And it's your job to put her at ease because you're the one who initiated the interaction. The key is learning how to alleviate any awkwardness or tension that your approach created. If you always get the cold shoulder from the women you approach, you might be committing these common mistakes. See what you can do to fix them. 1. Waiting too long to approach is one of the most common flirting mistakes guys make. If you make eye contact with a woman, and then continue to stare at her off and on before finally making an approach, you're definitely giving off stalker vibes. This is a huge flirting mistake you don't want to make. You can look at her once, twice, maybe even 3 times before approaching. But anything more than that can come off as creepy. Come on guys, if she's made eye contact with you 2, or even 3 times, it's a pretty good bet that she wants and expects you to come talk to her, flirt with her, and build up some attraction. Waiting too long to approach almost always means you've missed out. A woman doesn't want you to play hard to get, and she doesn't want to engage in some hour-long cross-the-room stare-off. She wants a man who is secure enough to approach her once eye contact has been initiated. 2. Getting too close too soon is a giant flirting mistake. Even if you're not able to make eye contact with a girl, it's still totally fine to approach her as long as you do it right. And that means not invading her personal space. If you're approaching her from behind, you don't want to scare her by standing directly behind her or touching her in an inappropriate way. If you do need to touch her to get her attention, a light brush of her shoulder or arm is the best. When she turns around to see who touched her, she needs to have enough space to turn around and make eye contact with you. If you're too close, she'll end up looking at your chest or neck. If you're of similar heights, that can be even worse because you'll literally be right in her face. And no woman wants that. The same goes for approaching her from the side or front. Keep some space between you. In general, stay at least half an arm's length away if you want to get off to a good start with her. 3. Not having something to say to her. This one is absolutely crucial if you want to make a favorable impression. If you walk up to a girl and blurt out "Hi, I'm Brad" and then just stand there smiling like an idiot, she's going to get creeped out. You need to have something else to say for yourself, whether it's a flirty line, a respectful compliment, or even a comment about your social surroundings, if you want to get a conversation going. Women aren't in the habit of pretending to be interested when you have worthwhile nothing to say. And assuming they'll entertain you when you just stand there is a huge mistake when flirting with girls. Remember, you're the one who approached her, so the onus is on you, not her, to get a conversation going. This is true, whether you're flirting with a woman at work, at a bar, or when you're out with friends. So be prepared with something else to say after you introduce yourself. This will prevent you from stammering, or standing in front of her in awkward silence. 4. Making too much eye contact is one of the biggest flirting mistakes you can make. Yes, eye contact is good. In fact, it's great when used naturally and properly. It can become a problem, however, if you stare into her eyes intensely, or for too long. Even if she's the most beautiful woman you've ever seen, you need to keep your admiring gazes to around 3 seconds. Anything longer than that is going to make her feel uncomfortable, while more than 5 seconds is guaranteed to creep her out. Whether you're approaching a woman in the bar, or are on a first date, this is a cardinal rule. Don't stare into her eyes, or at any part of her face or body for too long, or you'll be giving off the creep vibe. 5. Too much or unwanted touching. This can be a hard one to get right because every woman responds to touch differently. The key is to pay attention to her body language and facial expressions. These are great indicators of what type of touch is welcome, and what is not. A lot of guys make the flirting mistake of touching her too much too soon, whether they put an arm around her, touch her hair, or even hold her hand for too long. On the flip side, if you don't touch her at all, that can also be pretty awkward. You know, where you go in for a handshake, and then chicken out and stick your hands in your pockets. If she sees you're visibly nervous, that's going to make her feel uncomfortable too. Most women will be okay with a light touch on the arm or shoulder to get their attention. They'll also be cool with a handshake. If you want to differentiate yourself a bit, turn your palm slightly upward, so she's placing her hand in yours like royalty, before shaking it lightly and releasing it. This is a great way to subtly flirt with a woman while touching her. The other option is to simply clasp her hand for 3 seconds while you're introducing yourself. Either of these handshakes are great. They're a little more intimate than the standard business handshake, but you haven't invaded her personal space either. Once you've been talking for a while and things are going well, you can try touching her again. But keep it casual. If she responds well, you'll know she's probably into you. If she pulls away, it's a pretty good indicator that she's not interested, and it's time for you to cut your losses. Simply find a way to end the conversation politely and move on.
All of the wounds that were opened by you are now closing. I finally know how to live without hurting myself. I think that I am moving on, cause I do feel less broken. I needed a sign, this is a sign that I'm healing. I'm finally healing from you.